In this tutorial, we are finally talking about the courses for the Commercial Helicopter Pilot License, also known as the CPL. The license which is reserved for those of you over 18 years old that allows you to become a professional in commercial aviation. As we saw in the previous tutorial, there are two methods available in order to achieve this title. Let's go step by step and start with the modular course. This course is built for composable modules. Each module ends with the achievement of a qualification or a prerequisite of experience for the next module. We now describe the various steps. The first is the private pilot license, which we have already discussed extensively and allows you to fly for non-commercial purposes. The second module is called Hour Building and is not a real training phase, but acts in a way that allows you to accumulate the necessary experience to gain access to the next steps, i.e. 150 total flight hours, of which at least 70 hours of solo flight, they're called PIC hours because you'll be the pilot in command, and there will be no instructor on board. Why did we say 70 PIC flight hours even if the legislation only provides for 50? Because it is the prerequisite for the qualification for instrument flight on a twin-engine helicopter. It is therefore always recommended to reach this requirement as soon as possible. It is very important to be followed by a flight school for this phase because theoretically you could buy 70 hours of flight and fly when and how you want. However, if you want to get prepared for the next stages, it's better to follow the advice of a school and grow in terms of quality as well as the amount of hours logged, i.e. those written on the flight book or logbook. The aircraft used can be of any type, which are normally the cheapest you can find on the market, since you will then have to fly them for almost half of your training. While you accumulate the experience of 150 hours of flight, you will be able to attend the theoretical course in parallel, which normally lasts between 9 and 12 months and covers all the subjects you've already attended during the PPL. This course will obviously have a significantly higher level of in-depth study than the private one and is held in English. Books, manuals, slides, exams, and therefore it is essential to have a good knowledge of the language, not only in order to speak on the radio, but also to proceed on the professional path. In addition to the radio telephony exam in English, you will also have to take an exam which consists of an interview with an examiner in which you will have to demonstrate that you have reached a minimum level of knowledge, which is called ECAL Level 4. There will be a dedicated tutorial later. Coming back to the theoretical course, there are two types of courses that you can attend, the CPL or ATPL course. What's the difference, I hear you ask? It is that the CPL theoretical course and also the theoretical course for the instrumental rating are included in the ATPL, Air Transport Pilot License course. Now, as already said, for a helicopter pilot, the instrumental rating is not as fundamental as that of an aircraft pilot. However, if in the future you want to achieve this qualification, by taking this course, you will have already complied with the theoretical part and you will only have to do the practical part. If, on the other hand, you follow a CPL theoretical course, you will have to repeat another theoretical course and another round of exams. So, in any case, even for a helicopter pilot, it is recommended to take the ATPL course. The theoretical course consists of 250 hours in the classroom for the CPL and 650 hours for the ATPL. However, distance learning courses can also be followed, which must then be completed with a classroom portion which normally consists of 10% of the total. Not all schools are certified for distance learning, and as we've already mentioned for the PPL, they must rely on certified platforms. Let's now talk a little about the exams. The ATPL theory exams are divided into 13 matters as per the course. You can keep the priority on the matter you prefer and leave the other ones to the end. Or you can mix some difficult matters with other easier ones. Your flight school will give you further suggestions about it due to the fact that it's very subjective. You should also bear in mind that there are 3 limitations. You cannot repeat the same exam more than 4 times, you cannot participate in more than 6 sessions, and you must complete the entire process from the first to the last exam inside of 18 months. So what happens if you breach one of these limits? You will have to retake all the exams from the start. A student can decide to take the theoretical exams in a different place from his residence or from his flight school, but keeping in mind that those who start them there must also finish them in that very same place. In any case, the 3 constraints we have said remain, so be careful to plan the sessions well. Now let's go back to the practical part. Once you have reached the total 150 hours of flight, you'll be able to access the last module concerning the preparation for the final CPL exam, which consists of 35 hours of flight with an instructor, of which 5 are at night, where you will go to repeat all the maneuvers of the PPL but with much more precision. The instructor will demand that your decision making refers to commercial and non-private operations. An important thing about the parallel progression between theory and practice is that once you finish the CPL or ATPL exams, you will have 36 months to take the practical exam. So you need to decide to start the exams when you can plan, even economically, to complete the practical part within 36 months. Each module that we have described can be done in different schools. You can take the PPL in Italy, the hour building in Austria, the theoretical exams in Germany, and the practical part in Sweden. For each module, you will have a European certificate that will give you the freedom to move where you see fit, or to interrupt the path for a period of time, perhaps to find the necessary financial resources in order to continue, or to give priority to other aspects of your private life. The important thing is to put all the pieces together and respect the preparatory steps and prerequisites. The advice we would like to give you is to carry out most of your training in a single school and not to dilute it over too many years, because it's important to be followed consistently throughout the course and to give continuity to your progress. By now, you've finished your journey and you're a professional helicopter pilot. And to add appeal to your curriculum, you can obtain qualifications on the new types or obtain the instrumental rating and attend the MCC, Multi-Crew Coordination course that you will need to fly as a co-pilot in a multiple crew. Without this course, you will never be able to be a co-pilot in companies that perform, for example, helicopter rescue or transport on offshore platforms. Now let's move on to the integrated courses. If you check the legislation, you will find 3 types of courses. The integrated CPL, which is the most basic course and includes a theoretical course of 350 hours and a practical course of 135 hours of flight carried out entirely on single-engine piston helicopters and simulators. The integrated ATP VFR, which will allow you to access the theoretical ATPL courses from 750 hours and carry out the practical part with 150 hours of flight on a single piston engine simulator and twin engine helicopter. And finally, the integrated ATP IR course, which will lead you to also carry out the practical part of instrumental rating with qualification on a twin-engine helicopter and MCC course within the same path for a total of 195 flight hours. Here, the legislation is very difficult because a copy-paste of the regulation relating to airplane pilots has been made. The A of airplane has been changed to the H of helicopter, without taking into account many peculiar aspects of the rotary wing. In fact, educationally, these courses are difficult to put into practice because the qualification on a twin-engine turbine helicopter is not trivial, and in the ATP course there are even discounts in flight hours compared to a normal course. So, if in a modular, this qualification that you will do at the end of the whole journey when you have almost 200 hours of flight will still be very difficult. In the ATP courses, you will undertake it with half the experience and with fewer hours of training. We agree it is cheaper, but at the training level it has a lot of sense. Therefore, the advice of the schools is normally to start an ATP course in order to attend the theoretical ATPL course, which is very important as a theoretical requirement, but then at the end of the practical course, give up part of the instrumental flight with the twin engine, postponing it eventually afterwards when you will be licensed with a little more experience and a few more hours of training. In this way, by giving up part of the training but reaching at least 135 hours of flight, you can request a downgrade to the CPL exam on a single piston engine, which is the best solution. In the next tutorial, we will explain how to proceed with the instrument rating separately. After this somewhat complex preamble, let's move on to the course. As already explained in the previous tutorial, the integrated courses start immediately in full throttle mode. It is necessary to be convinced that you are entering this world to know without doubt that you want to become a professional and have the financial resources to complete everything in 24 or 36 months, depending on the course you choose. This is the time limit imposed by EASA, and if you exceed it, you'll have to do additional training that the school will determine depending on your path. You will therefore start immediately with the CPL or ATPL theoretical course without ifs and buts, and you will go into the subject specifically, and it will be in English and with other students who may already have experience in the world of aviation. Some schools, to overcome this gap, organise preparation courses in order to standardise the level of classes. The theoretical exams take place in the same way as those for the modular course because the title acquired will be exactly the same, even if carried out with two different paths. You will start to fly immediately, and you will have to carry out the practical part in parallel with the theoretical part. No type of break is included in the package. The activity will no longer be divided into modules, but will be a continuous course, coordinated by the school without intermediate qualifications. If you decide to change schools, your experience will only be recognised if the new school accepts the standards achieved by the previous school. Up to now, we have listed the criticalities of the integrated path to make you realise how much consistency and assiduous application is required. Obviously, from this course, you will come out with a very high level of preparation, since in 3 years you will have absorbed all the necessary notions without wasting time. You will have immersed yourself in the aeronautical world up to your neck, and you will not have wasted time in other distractions. At the end of the integrated course, the title you will have acquired is the same as that of the modular one. So if you think you have the requirements and the stubbornness for this type of course, throw yourself in headlong and don't waste time. If you want to evaluate step by step whether this is the right life for you, or you want to take more time to comply with the financial commitments of this course, and you don't have time to follow a full-time course, get yourself back to modular. Licenses issued after 2014, as we've already described in the PPL license tutorial, have value throughout the European Union, plus some neighbouring countries that have adhered to the European standards in the aviation sector, and never expire. It is an acquired qualification, such as a diploma or degree. Of course, if you don't fly for a while, you will need to go back to a flight school and fly with an instructor before you can fly on your own again. As far as costs are concerned, it depends a lot on the course that you want to attend, and above all, whether you want to qualify for instrumental rating or not. In the next tutorials, there will be some more explanations, because first, we need to deepen some other details. This tutorial has been intense and complicated. We recommend that you look at it at least a couple more times, take notes, and then contact us if you still have any doubts. If you have any questions or curiosities, contact us at info@checkbeforeflight.com or refer to the definitions in Wiki Before Flight. Happy landings!